Welcome back to the Monday Night Wars. This is the WCW side, Week 50. September the 30th, 1996. This is the 55th episode of Nitro into totality, but it's the 50th week they've gone head-to-head on the same night. Nitro beats Raw for the 14th week in a row, and the scores were ratings 3.3 for Nitro, 2.3 for Raw, so they beat them by a whole million viewers. This 50th week in Nitro has made the scoreboard now a total of Nitro with 31 wins, Raw with 17 wins, and 2 draws. So 31, 17, and 2 is the record for Nitro over Raw. So this Nitro that had the 3.3 rating of September the 30th, 96, opened up with Pyro all over from the CSU Convention Center in Cleveland, Ohio, live on TNT. For the first hour of Nitro, we got Zbyszko, Schiavone, and Tenay, and then the second hour we get Bischoff and Heenan. The show begins with a statement as Schiavone sends it to Eric Bischoff, and Bischoff just has a special message, because usually Bischoff doesn't commentate till the second hour, so he has a special message that he wants to say that last week with the NWO taking over, the WCW's history is too prestigious, the lineage is too strong for punks like that to treat WCW officials that way, and it won't be tolerated. It's pretty much the gist of that statement by Bischoff. We go to the ring, and Public Enemy defend the titles against El Tecnico and Juventud Guerrera. Juventud Guerrera and Rocko begin in the ring. Juventud ducks with an armbar takedown, a springboard Hurricane Rana onto Rocko, takes him out of the ring, and on the outside, Rocko threw Juventud into the guardrail. Back inside into the ring, El Tecnico comes in and Grunge tags in as well and lands a middle rope elbow. Juventud breaks up the pinfall attempt as Grunge tried to pin El Tecnico. Both tandems brawl in the ring. Juventud then on the outside as El Tecnico gets slammed by Rocko. Johnny Grunge throws Rocko on to El Tecnico with a moonsault as he elevated his own partner to retain the titles at 206. This was flowing good, but too bad it had to end so soon, so I only gave it a star. After the match, Rocko hit a springboard plancha onto the table that they always bring to ringside, through to El Tecnico. The Four Horsemen, Steve McMichael and Chris Benoit cut a promo, then the New World Order cut a promo, and they're backstage, they're in a room at the Marriott in Cleveland, Ohio, in the black and white with the NWO music going, just shooting the shit, laughing at jokes. Alex Wright faces Dean Malenko next. Malenko comes out holding a Mysterio mask because he'll face Mysterio at Halloween Havoc. Can't wait to see that match again. I don't know which one's better, the Great American Bash match or Halloween Havoc. It's close. The bell rings and Malenko with a go-behind standing switch. Malenko with the wrist. Then the young German sensation Alex Wright counters with quick moves to Malenko. A front flip followed by arm torquing. Then a fireman's takeover into an armbar. Malenko then grabs the ankle of Wright and torquing the leg into a half grab attempt. Wright pushes him off by grabbing Malenko's wrists for a wrist lock, but then Dean went into a front face lock, into a hammer lock, then into an abdominal stretch. Both men mat wrestle extremely well and some of the crowd clap. Zbyszko says Malenko might be too methodical, too much thinking. Schiavone says it's a fair point. Malenko with a standing side headlocks and a near fall. Side suplex, and a near fall. Dean with a snapmare and a stomp. Malenko picks away at Wright, and back from the break, Wright got some offense going, but Malenko was dominating during the commercial break, we are told. Dean Malenko Irish whips him into the safety rail on the outside, but back inside, they both exchange fists. Malenko with a step-over spinning crab, laying down on the mat nice and smooth. Malenko cornering Wright, but he comes in with an Oklahoma roll out of nowhere, and Dean Malenko is upset by Alex Wright after he wins with an Oklahoma roll at 5:17. I rated the match 3 stars. It was a good match. Tenay introduced Randy Savage for an interview, but he didn't show up. Then they show a video package for Slim Jim with Ric Flair in the commercial and Savage in the commercial. And it was a legit commercial, but Savage didn't come up for the interview, so the question is, where is he? I love how Nitro left open-ended questions like that, cliffhangers, things that you want to tune in to find out. He was not the only one on this episode where you'd wonder, where was he? There's Sting, who says he's only going to show up. He's a free agent. He's not in the NWO. He's not in WCW. So his presence is ominous whenever he does show up. And then there's going to be Bischoff pretty soon. Where did he go? Eddie Guerrero versus Jim Powers with Teddy Long. A battle of strength versus finesse here. They talk about wondering where Sting is on commentary and Savage. belly-to-belly suplex, overhead Irish whip, Powers drops with a clothesline, and then a back shot to the gut. The first ever loud NWO chant from my reviews on Nitro. I have never seen one, but the first loud NWO is chanted, and I think that's pretty cool. Eddie Guerrero hit a side suplex after a shot. Power struggled, and Eddie Guerrero off the top, but Guerrero kicked out after a suplex attempt by Jim Powers, a superplex, because it was off the top rope. Inside cradle, Eddie Guerrero kicked out a waistlock takeover into a German suplex with a bridge by Guerrero, and he wins at 6:27. After the match, Teddy Long argues with referee Nick Patrick, saying he needs to go to referee school, but they explained that Eddie Guerrero was pinning Powers' shoulders to the mat. I give the match 2 stars. They then cut to the NWO, who are backstage in the black and white still. The Nasty Boys come in and talk, and they even have Hulk Hogan's son, who they call Nasty Nick, there. And then they have one of the Nasty Boys talk like Ace Ventura with his butt cheeks, pretending they're Bischoff. Hugh Morris versus Brad Armstrong. I believe it was Jerry Seggs that did the impression. Hugh Morris versus Brad Armstrong. The crowd was completely dead for this. It really sucked the life out of the crowd. A moonsault off the top, and the pop of the night when Hugh Morris wins because the crowd wanted the match is over. Clap. I rated it a half a star. Hugh won at 4:15. Hour 2 came on at the Pyros. Bischoff welcomed us all to Nitro. Bischoff hadn't left yet. He would leave pretty soon. Weird stuff going on as he leaves right after he talks about, and right after he enters us to Nitro. He says, "I'm out of here. I'm going to go find the NWO." That's what he says. So whatever that means. Arn Anderson is with women to take on Chris Jericho as Tony Schiavone takes over the broadcast. They talk about where Bischoff could have went, or why he went there, and what's going to happen when he does get there, and how it's not safe. But they completely understand Bischoff's stance. Arn Anderson defeats Jericho. Jericho had some good moves here, but Arn ultimately got the win at 5:35. Luger took on Wall Street. Luger gets the torture rack and wins at 7:23. I forgot to rate the other match between Arn Anderson and Chris Jericho. I gave it 2 stars and a quarter. Luger and Wall Street, I gave this match a star and 3/4. They talk about how Sting is a free agent and how his presence is ominous whenever he does show up. So now we don't know where Savage, Sting, or Bischoff are. Faces of Fear take on the Rock and Roll Express. This was a long match, but it was good and powerful. The Faces of Fear displayed a lot of power. They won after an enziguri and a big power slam and double team offense. They won at 8:25. The Public Enemy came into the ring, the tag champs, and brawled with them as they just wanted to show what tag team was the top tag team in the company, apparently. I rated that match a star and 3/4. The NWO have a backstage segment with racer Kyle Petty. And Nick Hogan is still there, who they call Nasty Nick. Then Chris Benoit takes on Rick Steiner, Mongo McMichael, and Deborah in Benoit's corner. This is the main event, but the night's questions have remained unanswered. Benoit takes it to Rick Steiner with hard chops in the corner, and he ate a boot. Reverse Irish whip into spine buster, and he's in the corner by Benoit. To Benoit, I should say, by Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner got kicked out by Benoit, who came back with a hard clothesline. He levels Rick Steiner with a chop to the chest. Rick Steiner then sits Benoit on the top. He was going to hit a superplex, but Mongo comes in with a briefcase and smacks Rick Steiner. So Benoit wins with a crossbody attempt at 4:25. I gave it a star and a quarter. That does it for the matches portion of the show. The show's ended with a following announcement is brought to you by the NWO. And the NWO are backstage or at the Marriott, and it's black and white, and they have Miss Elizabeth sitting in between Hollywood Hogan and the Giant. They're trying to promise Liz movie roles and that kind of things. Elizabeth leaves the room, and then all of a sudden running down the hallway is Randy Savage. We know where he is. And this is all still in black and white. Savage sees Liz leaving the NWO's locker room. Savage goes nuts. He says, "I'm going to kill that son of a bitch." Well, I'm paraphrasing. I don't think he said, "I'm going to kill him." But he went, "Son of a bitch, son of a bitch." And then he went, "Liz, what are you doing? It's not what I think, huh?" So Savage was paranoid. And again, Nitro won 3.3 to 2.3. I give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. The NWO weren't there live, which hurt the quality. But at the same time, they kept you guessing the whole episode. It had a decent flow. So 6.5 out of 10 I feel is fair. And, there's a lot of unanswered questions, which makes you want to tune in to the next week. And the fans were. Brett Mix, and that's Nitro Review for this week.